Everybody, welcome back to our episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Mike Roar 31. We talk about the truck race in Las Vegas. Before we begin, I just want to talk about if you're interested in baseball, the season's coming pretty fast, coming up. FSI is covering spring training. We're doing really, really well. It's really, really cheap. So go to the description of the video and go to our website, and you can sign up for that. NASCAR has been very, very profitable. I'm up over 3 grand since the beginning of the season. I don't play um, like a lot of volume, but since the Clash, I think there's only been like one slate between Cup and Xfinity and Truck that I haven't cashed, and it's some of them have been some pretty big wins. I think I finished second in one of the GPPs in FanDuel over the weekend. So last week was great. You all have been great too. Video views have been outstanding so far. Uh, Xfinity was like 500 some last week. Cup was like 1500. Just amazing. So I really appreciate that. So speculation video again, and I'm sorry for last week. The Xfinity one of the prime plays that I had listed as in the speculation video, Brad Perez for some reason didn't even race. So didn't really even get a chance to catch that. Luckily, I didn't have my lineups. If some of you did, I apologize. Um, but always check back because again, this is not we don't have the actual starting data. My model with little data so far with 2025. Actually, I've done a lot of research. I spent like 3 or 4 hours putting this together for you. Um, so hopefully it's helpful. And again, it's not going to really help, but the video is going to help. So listen a little bit longer. I'll go through a little bit of history here and start talking about some drivers. But here's what I'm going to do for you. Because I appreciate all the views we've gotten, because I feel bad about the brand president, if this video gets like 300 views, which is half as much as it usually gets, it could fall on a bed usually and get 300 views. Um, come back on Friday night. The race starts at 9. That's what's really fun. The nice thing is there's practice. So like at 3:30, I think they get like an hour and a half, and at 5 o'clock starts the qualifying. And it usually takes about 6 o'clock after post inspection and stuff. And I work at a day job, so by the time I get home and look at everything, if I tried to break it all down, do the sheet, do a video, upload the video and everything, you'd probably get it like 8:30, 8:45. You'd have very little time to watch the video and be able to absorb it. And so it just doesn't work. So here's what I'll do for you. I'll get you the actual sheet. Back to the video. Friday night around let's say around 7:30. Give me time to get NHL and NBA lock stuff done, and then I will put a link either like in my OneDrive or Google Sheet or somehow um, put a connection so that you will be able to go someplace and see what the updated sheet is with all the plays and if I get a chance projection. But you'll at least have like probably the place and the ownership, and that's like the most important thing too. You'll see what my three primes are. You'll see the cash plays. You'll see the GPPs and the 20K guys that are out there. So Las Vegas, kind of nice. I believe it's the third race in the year for them because I believe they were at Atlanta and obviously Daytona. So it's a race where they don't actually have to worry about like drafting and stuff. So it's a 1.5 mile track. Tire wear is decent here. It's not like the old Atlanta or Homestead or Auto Club, but it definitely fresher tires do make a difference here. Um, Not like the option tire did it in Cup Series last week, but it's something to look at. So this race has pretty much been one dominator race. Last year, we had a couple guys lead about, let's see here, we had Ruth led about 38 laps, Majeski led about 40 laps. And so I guess you could say it was like a two dominator race, but and Heim had like 18. But it's usually like you want to try to figure out the one dominator here race and then look at place differentials. So maybe a second dominator possibly, but you're only running 135 laps. I think it was 136 laps. So it's not that many laps. The dominated points are definitely probably from the leader, and they'll probably have the fastest laps being on the clean air. And And so you definitely want to capitalize on that. And then you want to capitalize on place differential. There's only 32 trucks in this. So the person that starts dead last has a floor of 9. You can't do any worse than 9 points. So if you look at like the the chart here, like Mazzoli is only projected to have 8, so he's probably going to project it to finish dead last. He loses one place differential point. He gets no bonus points for fast laps or leading any laps. And like so he ends with 8. So his X value is 1.48. I usually look for about 4 for like cash plays. So these guys have floors, but down here, but I don't know if that's who you really want to chase for place differential. 6 to 7 cautions, so there are some incidents, but you still have like big wrecks here, like maybe like 3, 4, 5 trucks. It's usually one or two cars, single car incidents, and maybe a couple, but I don't think the whole field's gonna wreck anytime. The other thing that people you might see like on X and like out there is that Toyota has won like 7 out of the last 10 races here, and Chevy's won the last two. And the reason why is like it all goes back to Kyle Busch. And Kyle Busch is not racing in this race, but last year Kruth raced in the race. I think Kyle Busch finished like 15th, and but he won it in 23, and that's when Kyle Busch Motorsports changed to a Chevy. His trucks, Chandler Smith won in 22, John Hunter Nemechek won in 21, then Kyle Busch won it in 2019 and 18, and then Ben Rhodes in the Thor Sports Toyota, which has nothing to do with Kyle Busch Motorsports, won in 2017. I don't think we need to go back before then. And most of the winners usually come like out of the top five. Um, a lot of them out of like the top three. So you really want to try to figure out pick somebody probably close to the front. And again, we're gonna have practice, so that's really gonna help here with everything. But let's just go over like we got a lot of track data and intermediates from last year, some ARCA information from some of these other drivers and like how the truck responded. So we've seen some similar situations where sometimes it's seamless if you go from driver to driver, especially some of like maybe these McNally Hilgerman racing trucks and Thor Sport and stuff where you put a similar driver into a similar truck and you get like a similar result. So that helps too. So my model has Majeski getting the pole here and finishing second. So last year, he finished 10th. I think he's definitely somebody that considering the dominator here. Chandler Smith also, like I said, he had the victory in 2022, and then he went up to Xfinity and for a couple of years, and now he's back down to he might have been running Xfinity up then also. I can't remember if he came back and just ran in the Kyle Busch truck as like a kind of all-star or if he not an all-star, but as like, when the people from Xfinity and Cup come down to hop into a truck with those ones that like rotate like every single week with different drivers, or if he was actually in the series, doesn't really matter. He won the race. He did good. And now he's permanently in the series here. And then Corey Heim, who I think is probably my favorite to win it here. Like everything pointed kind of towards that. And I think that he's definitely probably going to, sometimes he doesn't qualify well, but if anything, like that might make it a two dom race where if he's like qualifies like someplace down in like the between like 15 and 10th, then definitely he's probably going to turn into a prime play, not a dominator. But he could end up being a dominator towards the end of the race. So I definitely think I want to start my builds with who's up there, Majeski, Smith, or Heim as a dominator, unless they're like further on down, then they'll probably be a prime play because you know that they're going to get up there and get up front. They're going to get the place differential and have potential to lead the race and get the fast lap. So I think you need to start with at least one of those three, maybe two of the three, depending on how it goes. Caden Honeycomb, my model has starting fourth, but not finishing very well. This truck has been pretty strong. He finished 19th here with a different driver last year, but we'll have to see how it does in reality. But sometimes there's a little bit off. So I I'd normally slap the fade on him if he did start up here because it's hard though, because there have been times like in the last couple of years where Roger Cruz has started this high up, and you're like, there's no way in heck that he is going to stay up here for the whole race. And he does end up finishing like seventh. So lost a couple place differential points, but who cares? Seventh place with at his price tag with the finishing position, it worked out well and sometimes in the optimal. So we'll have to see there. America, I think, is an upside dominator here. This is on 19 truck with I guess last year, and it's finished sixth and looks pretty good. So I think that's definitely somebody that you can consider. Again, it all depends on how practice and qualifying goes, but I think someone like looking more in GPP build. Connor Mozak uh, qualified well. The truck finished 19th last year, was it? Or did he run last year and finished 19th? Yeah, he was in the 45 last year. So he was in the truck that Honey cuts in and he finished 19th. So where did he start last year? Again, he's a little bit more experienced this year, started 18th. So it all depends on where he qualifies. I think he's in a little bit better situation this year in the 81 than in the Nice truck. So we'll have to keep an eye on there, but I think it's a GPP play. Justin Haley jumping down from Cup, running an additional Spire, uh, formerly Kyle Busch Motorsports truck. I think he'll do pretty good here, just with all experience and everything. You don't have Kyle Busch in here, so not that he's like has even close to the talent that Kyle Busch does when he jumps down into truck series. But I think he's definitely a formidable racer. Um, Come out here and race with the boys on Friday night, and I think that he should do pretty well. So we'll have to keep an eye out for where he practices and qualifies. But I think he makes a solid GPP play. And same thing with Lane Riggs. Like Riggs, I just think like if you look back, he finished like 22nd last year. He was in the 38. I don't think it really makes a difference. Like they flip numbers, but I think most of the team and everything for front row is pretty much the same for him. So I think he put it on. He came on so strong at the end of the year last year and did really well at like intermediate tracks towards the end that I think that he definitely is someone that can contend here and has the upside to be a GPP dominator. Enfinger finished third last year. Where did he No, he didn't. He finished ninth last year. My prediction for him is finishing third this year. It's just everything with the early season and just how well he has dominated some of the 1.5 mile tracks previously. Started ninth, finished 10th last year, so nothing like super super exciting there for you. But I think, he with some of the competition moving up, and he's still around, that he's got a good shot at being pretty solid here. And Kruth rounding out the top 10, last year's winner. I'm going to put him as a prime play. I think he just looked really well. All the data points towards the Spire team and Chevy's being strong, and I think he definitely knows how to run these tracks. And I think he's going to look to get out there and lead. He might really qualify in the top three and actually turn from a prime to a dominator, but could also, definitely be like a key cog to your cash. So again, we'll have to see where things settle, but I really like him there. So in the top 10, pretty much Haley's the only one that's not a regular driver. Sorry, I'm still put on it for Daytona. That was supposed to be my Daytona only color. So let me change it to the fill of this like peach are like regular fill-ins, and then these brown ones are guys that rarely race. Although Justin S. Carroll's showing up more and more, so you might turn to a peach pretty soon. But the thing is, like with Haley here, he doesn't. I think Swalish is going to be here for the year, so you might turn green pretty much soon. But they could pit before the stage point because they don't have to, the stage break because they don't have to stay out there and try to get stage points, which helps them with track position, which obviously is key here. So especially if Haley starts like deep back in the field or something. It's an extra truck, so maybe they have some issues in like practice, or whatever, and have to like change a fuel pump or piece and start at the back of the field. And definitely it would be like probably a prime play, smash place differential thing, but also can gain track position by hitting before the end of the first and second stage. And hopefully should be able to, if they get the truck right, if there's any issues, be able to hold it. So definitely gives Haley a little bit of advantage there. Hey, starting in 11th, Ankrum finished second here last year. Model has a finishing ninth. He doesn't always qualify the greatest last year. He qualified fifth. That's not that bad. So, but Heim qualified like 25th last year. But again, maybe that's just an anomaly. We'll have to see how that goes. But Ankrum is always like a solid one. Sometimes like finds a little bit of trouble, but we're not talking like Drew Dollar, Harrison Burton, Haley Deegan, John Hunter Nemechek, Becky Spenhouse back in the day kind of issue. Just I think it's more bad luck than anything. Reason's always a GPP for me. He's solid. Like last year, he finished 18th here. Like having finished starting 12th, finishing 8th. Obviously, like 6x is definitely more of a cash play. But again, we'll have to see like what his actual attributes are before we decide on that. Walich in this Tricon number one truck is pretty strong truck. Even though he's only 3.7x. Last year, the truck finished fifth, driven by Christopher Bell. So it's a strong truck, and Swalich has been a pretty decent driver and doing pretty good in Xfinity also. So I think he should have a solid day. Again, I think he's going to be a cash play no matter where he starts, but we'll have to see on that. Rhodes, decent experience here. Finished 13th last year. Started 13th, so it's about the same thing. So I think he's got floor for cash at 8,000. If he starts here and finishes here, I think at 8,000 he's fine. Luke Fenhaas in this Thor Sports one. Truck finished 14th last year with Connor Jones in it. I think they're again, as I said in the open, I think they're like kind of similar drivers. So I think that it's a GPP, but again, if he's like really fast in qualifying and practice as well, or if he like does something and screws up practice or screws up a qualifying, but look fast in practice and starting to back the field, then maybe a cash play. But I think he's a GPP here. Crafton, another one with tons of experience here. Seventh place finish last year. Started 15th. My model has him started 16th and finishing 11th, so it's pretty much a similar day. Um, I should give you around 40 DK points and about anywhere like over or definitely over the 3x, like maybe 5 to 6x. So I think he's a strong cash play. Tanner Gray is usually reliable on cash play, also no matter where he qualifies. Captain's had a terrible start to the season, the first two races, so he's got to get going. Tanner Gray hasn't been too bad, so and I think both of them are cash plays. I think if you're looking for 20K guys, again, I might rebrand this once I see the real practice of qualifying. But Curry and Woods, I think both in Chevys here are pretty solid. I know it's only returning like 2x here, but Curry's had a hot start to the season. Has driven really well. 44 truck, nor he were here last year, but he's fine on intermediates. And Jack Woods and like I just like the McCully uh, Higelman Racing, we'll just call it MHR. Um, they're pretty a pretty solid team, especially with Hammer coming down from like all his cup experience and everything, and Ankrum, and it's just like solid guys to in team, and I think Jack Wood is definitely one that could be kind of a sleeper here. Um, with a truck that finished eighth last year, with Zane Smith in it. So I think that he can, and the truck starts seventh. So again, depends on where he practices and qualifies. Bredinger is, I don't think she's as bad as Haley Deegan. It's been a rough start for her. Was in multiple wrecks in Daytona, and I think she got wrecked in Atlanta also. But I think that Arca, she did really well. Uh, the truck finished 30th last year, but she wasn't driving it. Who was in that truck? It was Dean Thompson, who normally is pretty good. Truck qualified 23rd, finished 30th. I think she's okay for GPP. Like if she looks really lost in practice, then and it does look like there's an upside, then maybe fade her. But I think she'll be fine. Jake Garcia finished 11th here last year. Doesn't always qualify well, but ends up usually figuring it out. Like last year, he qualified 12th, so that's nice. Finished 11th. I think he's definitely got some upside for cash here. Mills, a little bit over the hill. Nice truck solid. Last year, he finished 31st, almost dead last. Just really struggled for the day. Um, at least the truck was running, qualified 22nd. So, and if Timmy Hill didn't have an electrical problem, he probably would have been dead last. So, I need to see a little bit more for him before I can play him in cash. Dawson Sutton, the Rackley truck, the number looks good here. It's like 4x play. If I need some value, I might consider it, but Rackley's had some issues over the years mechanically. Not much, like maybe one every 5 or 6 races, they'll have a problem. So it's not like they're putting jalopies out there. Uh, Andres Perez de Lara, if you need a reminder as who he is. Uh, he was first and second in ARCA the last 2 years. Mexican driver, lots of experience. He's been driving since he was 14. And I think he'll make a really good value play here in the 77. And another Spire truck. This truck finished 16th last year. Here is driving by Chase Purdy, started 11th. I think that, again, similar driver, doesn't have a ton of truck experience, but it'll come. I think solid pedigree and experience in just racing overall, and I think he'll be a nice value play for you here. 6,400. Giovanni Ruggiero, he's 18, a rising star, third in ARCA last year. East 2024 ran Town Arcas with 7 top 5. So another ARCA guy that's coming up again. Like ARCA doesn't necessarily prepare you super well for a truck, but they handle differently. But I think he's solid from what I've seen so far this season. So very solid um, finishes, uh, and really happy about that. So I think they're going to make him a prime play, especially if he starts down here and has the place differential. So keep your eye on that. If he starts like way up there, obviously the prime play is going to come off. I'm going to put the prime tag on the person I think is the best value down here. Um, and we'll go from there. But I think that he's one that you definitely need to consider playing. Rayum, GBP, nothing really excites me here. 20, truck finished 27th last year. Corey Day in the other all-star um, fire truck, which Kyle Busch usually drives, or the really good drivers usually come down and drive. I think he's got a lot of upside here too, and I don't think people will kind of overlook that he's in the 7 truck. So that's why I think he makes a perfect play here for like the 20K lineup. And again, when you play the 20K guys, you don't want to like put all um radical plays in here. You play the 320K guys, and then you play like the primes or cash or chalkier plays, so you have some floor. And then these 3 drivers are what differentiate. And you only have to play all of them. Maybe play. There's sometimes I've had success playing 2 of the 20K guys and then 4 chalk drivers, and um, it definitely gives you a couple of pivots off of what everybody else is playing, and helps like make your lineups a little bit different, and hopefully it'll carry you to Thor up the cash line there. Munoz, again, like Breininger, just kind of adjusting to this series. Truck finished 23rd last year. Um, Started series has been okay. He hasn't been like a detriment to the series. But I think the learning curve's still there. So GPP for me. Spencer Boyd, again, it all depends on where he is. Finished 29th last year here. Where do you start? He started 32nd, so he started dead last. He improved a couple of spots, so it's not really enough to get it done. I think place differential wise, but if you're trying to get a lot of the top guys in your lineup, you're going to have to play some people down here. Bird, is same thing. Again, it's practice and see how they do and all these 5K drivers like between Reum, Munoz, Boyd, Bird, and Malazoni. Um, think all the equipment's okay. Boyd's in a single truck team. It's kind of like an offshoot, but they seem to be okay. And then Justin Carroll also is never really fast. I, with a mile and a half, it's not like it's a short track where they're going to catch the field right away, but I do see possibly that all these 5K guys could be multiple laps down at some point of the race if it stays green and not that long of a track. It should be very easy for the leaders to pass them a couple times. So again, you just have to see how they do and the speed they have in practice, and go from there. And look at calculate the place differential. And I think any of them, the 5K guys here, last guy in your lineup, but hopefully we can build a balanced lineup and not have to worry about them, and we can get like maybe a Garcia in or a De La Pereza at 64. Be able to maybe get out of the 5K range and nail and have some of the safer plays in the 6K range. Um, but if you have to go down here, again, we'll just have to see how practice and qualifying goes. So what I got for you. Remember, check back around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will put something in the comments giving you a link to the finalized sheet. And same thing with the Xfinity video. Well, that'll be speculation one too. If you watch that, the same thing. It's like practice and qualifying same day, and there's like a 2-3 hour window at 5 o'clock to the Xfinity race. I will get you the sheet for that one too. If we can get like 300 views for each one of these videos, which I don't think is going to be a problem, because again, these videos do pretty well, and thank you so much. So if these videos help you, help us back, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. Bring more people into this community. If they start watching me, I'm sure they'll enjoy it too. Bump the algorithm, and continue to get this free message out there. Put a lot of work into these videos, and just because I love helping. I love the success stories. I love the relationship that I've built with a lot of you through Discord, through X, Twitter. Um, you know, talk to a lot of people about racing in NASCAR and things like that, and have helped a lot of people be successful in DFS. I'm not trying to teach you how to be a millionaire here. I really want you to be able to go in and enjoy racing and have some like skin in the game and be able to continue over and over and over again to be able to manage your bankroll and to make it profitable, but not like lose everything you have, because it's a very, very dangerous line. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Again, if you want more information of Side DFS, go to the description of the video, and then you can go to our website and see all the cool things that we offer there. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contests. Check back for that link to the sheet. Check out the Xfinity video coming up and the Cup video, and I'll see you next time.